Okay, good evening everybody and welcome to Woodstock High School. We are really excited tonight because we are here for our first 2019 CTE Showcase, and it's an extraordinary event that we're trying to put on, and we're always going to welcome feedback on it, but what we're really excited about is just the great programming that we have here at Woodstock High School. Hopefully when you came in, you had a minute or two to stop, check out some of the different booths. At a certain point, you may make your way down and hear an engineering program, but I know a lot of you are gathered here for our Incubator Pitch Night, which is obviously a capstone event for the Incubator program. So we're really excited about this whole event. We really appreciate you coming out and supporting Woodstock High School and the Incubator program. So I just wanted to open up and say thank you very much for that. I'm now going to turn it over to Dustin Smith, who can explain more about how the pitch process will work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Melicelli. I see a lot of familiar faces out here, so I know some of you are going to already know what this program is. But for those that aren't familiar, today's been such a whirlwind trying to make sure the night goes smoothly. I didn't have a chance to rehearse, so I know I'm going to get ripped by the kids tomorrow, but I am going to read some information directly off my notes. So students started the school year by finding a problem worth solving and formed teams around solving that problem. They spent the fall building their BMC, which is basically a one-page business plan. This involved identifying a solution to their problem, determining their target market, planning how they will communicate with customers, and then delivering their solution. They also then begin to estimate their costs and forecast the revenue through that experience. At the beginning of the second semester, teams pitched their business ideas and their MVP plans to our board of investors. An MVP is a minimum viable product. It's pretty much a skinny version of your solution that you can get out in front of potential customers to test their market acceptance. After their MVP pitches, teams were provided small funds to create that MVP and test it in the market. So that's what they've been doing since February, is taking the feedback from their MVPs to build upon and iterate and learn from it to create the business idea that you're going to see tonight. So all teams have pitched these now validated business ideas, and the process of what we're going to do here tonight is that each team will have 10 to 12 minutes to present, followed up by 8 to 10 minutes of Q&A from the board. In between, we'll have a 5-minute transition so that they can score each team, and then the next team can transition to prepare their pitch as well. So at the end, we will announce the first place and second place winners. The first place will get a $200 cash prize, and the second place will get a $100 cash prize. They can put it into their business to continue pushing it further, or they can keep it for themselves as a reward for all the hard work they did this year. It's up to them. If there are any angel investors from the crowd, or if the board wants to invest in them, that will be negotiated at a different time. And then we will be certain to announce that probably through our Facebook page if that does happen. Students would then be enrolled in our accelerator program and run that class next year. They'd spend the summer filling out all the necessary paperwork and actually launching the real business. Okay? So, I've been talking enough. Without further ado, we might as well kick this off. Our first team tonight is going to be the Light Bulb Movement, and they have prototype Road Rage.
Here we have Mauricio, who just obtained his learner's permit with his driving instructor, Vanessa.
So Mauricio, how's been driving with your dad lately?
Oh, it's very stressful. He yells at me and he keeps on driving on the wheel, and I just don't like that.
There's gotta be a solution. Oh, maybe Road Rage, the website. It has a product called the Light Drive, I believe, and it's supposed to help with communication between the parent and the student.
I'll definitely check that out.
Awesome. Pull over right here. Very good, Mauricio. That very night, Mauricio came home and told Peyton about the Light Drive.
Hey, Dad. So you know how it's stressful driving with you in the car?
Tell me about it.
Well, there's this thing called the Light Drive. You can check it out at Road Rage. Can you please get it?
After some research, they decided to buy the Light Drive.
Wow, this is a steal, only $39.99. I'll order this right now.
The next time they drove, they got the light drive and drove with it. As you can see, no one is getting yelled at, and no one seems stressed. It's a simple touch of a button. Mauricio successfully got his license because of the light drive.
And this is road rage.
My name is Payne Doherty, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer.
My name is Vanessa Longbisi, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Process and Innovative Officer.
My name is Mauricio Porcayo, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer.
As you saw, it's stressful for the student driver and the instructor, parent, or guardian in the car. No one likes driving, really. Now, we came up with a solution, the light drive. The light drive is a light bar that goes in front of the dash of a student driver. Now, the parent holds the remote. This can indicate left and right turns. As you can see in the picture behind me, the arrows are up and down. Some of you have maybe already put it together that when you turn on your right blinker, you go up, and when you turn on your left blinker, you go down. It's just a simple thing that a lot of student drivers had to struggle with, and we adjusted to. Also, the colors in the middle rectangular area changed from green to yellow to red. Now, green means to go faster. We learned through MVP testing, a lot of students actually had to struggle with going the correct speed, and they usually went under. So we did adjust to have a specific color just for that problem. Yellow means that you have a minor problem, such as maybe not checking your mirrors enough. When you're in student driving, you actually are taught to go through a list in your head to remember what you need to do, such as checking your mirrors. So this would be somewhere where a student driver would adjust and try and go through that list and problem solve themselves. Now you can also make the color go to red. Red would basically mean that you're doing something major, maybe not stopping soon enough, which was a problem I always had. Now at that point, the student driver has a few options. They could ask what's going on and initiate the conversation, or they could still try and problem solve. But it allows the student driver feeling like they're in control and the parent or guardian feeling like they're in control, because all they have to do is press a button and the student driver will follow their lead.
We have 3 indirect competitors. The first one is the visor. It's just a GPS that reflects from your phone. We have the TomTom, which is simply a GPS indicator. And finally, Top Driver, which offers online courses, and in one of their bundles, there's training for parents on how to talk to their student drivers and how to have a calm environment.
Now, our unique value proposition is that there is no one else out here doing this. No one has this product. We have no competitors, and people want it sooner. Someone we tested, Sue Roth, actually said she wishes she had this product sooner for a prior child. It's just so much easier to communicate through a push of a button instead of trying to yell commands when the student driver is stressed and so is the parent.
We're going to sell this to parents and guardians with teens ages ranging from 15 to 17-year-old, and we're selling it to them because they're the ones that want them to have their license.
From both our MVP testing as well as our problem and solution interviews, we settled on a price point of $39.99 given our feedback. As you can see, our 3-year projections look fantastic. For year 1, we hope to produce approximately 1 unit per day. For year 2, we plan to produce approximately 3 units per day. And for year 3, we plan to produce 7 units per day.
We're going to sell the light drive through the Road Rage website and the pop-up shops, such as how we did in the lighting of the square and in front of the sugar circle during the spring break. We're going to sell this by having the driving instructors recommend this to their customers, and we want to have good customer service so that customers recommend this to friends and family, and we're going to have weekly newsletters and to keep them updated and informed. And we're also going to pull people in through Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we're going to have product demonstrations to get our product out there and show people how it works. And we're also going to use search engine optimization.
Now behind me is a graph showing the dramatic decrease in our direct material cost. So our last pitch, our MVP pitch, we had it at $29.80, but we have dramatically decreased by $11.92. And this is still decreasing, so we're very proud of this.
For 10, we have a group of 3.1 million people. For serviceable addressable market, we have a group. For a serviceable market, we have a group of approximately 34,000 people. In year one, we hope to accumulate approximately 1.05% of our market share. This would require that we sell 350 units. As you can see in the graph behind me, despite our ever-increasing SG&A costs, we hope to greatly outweigh this with our ever-increasing profit.
So this is our plan behind it. So basically, I'm going to highlight the most important things to us. We would like to develop a manufacturing process for the light drive and also get it out for market, because we know once people realize what we have, they'll love it. Another big step that we're making is phase 2. So this is the light drive for you. Now this light drive, the only really difference around housing is that the arrows are actually left and right instead of up and down. Now what it will do is connect to your phone's GPS. So when a road is coming up, the light will actually blink left, for example, and indicate that you're taking a left turn. The colors in the middle still indicate from green to yellow to red, and these colors do mean a different thing though. So green would, for example, mean that you're going 5 under the speed limit, yellow would mean you're going 5 over, and red would mean you're going 10 over. This can change adjusting to the person's needs.
Today we ask you for $12,000, and in return, we offer you a 16% stake in our company, Road Rage.
For the exit strategy, we are going to sell the company by the end of year 3 to a strategic seller, and the estimated investor return would be approximately $23,000.
And now, join us on our road to success.
Great presentation, and I liked everything that I saw tonight in terms of how your product has evolved. But I'm curious from your perspective, what are the biggest changes that you made to your product as you initially conceived it to where it's at today?
So overall, we've changed the green light, because actually a lot of people did tell us that, so that was one of the biggest changes that we did, just the meaning behind it. And really just the process that we're making it is one of the longest things that took adjusting, was just manufacturing. Also through MVP testing, we just felt more confident after it, because a lot of people actually didn't feel like it was a need, and that nothing else has been changed for so many years that we've had cars. There's nothing been introduced into this market that isn't even there. So we really are adjusting to confidence in that case.
I feel like throughout these 3 months, we've done so much in where we're getting our materials from, and so thanks to that, we've been able to drastically reduce what it costs for us to build this.
So I guess that's my follow-up question is, can you explain the pretty big drop in the per unit cost?
Of course. So initially, we were looking at local retailers such as Amazon, because such a short delivery time, it's really easy for us to order parts and assemble them here, especially due to the fact that there's such little time between MVP and final pitch. So since we're going to look at production on a mass scale, we're able to adjust how long it takes for us to get those prototypes, such as buying overseas. So buying these materials at a lower cost will be sufficient with the time we're giving ourselves to proceed.
And also we did make it a lot smaller and make, so that was one of the big price differences, because a lot of people were kind of just saying, why is it so big? And we just really had no idea of how big it should be, so we did adjust that to that bit.
How many people actually drove with it?
Drove with it? About 10. We did, of course, do interviews and questions. having it in the car, going through the whole process of driving. About 10.
What was like the general feedback? Did you talk to their parents or did you talk to them about whether they'd buy it?
So we talked to both of them because we're technically selling to the parent, but of course the students were the one having to deal with it. And overall, it was kind of just comments about like the IR not working, so prototype problems. We did adjust, there's a mat over there now, so we did, after the first tester or the second, we did get a mat for that because it kept sliding around. So we just, like, most of the problems with the product were actually just stuff we assumed with a prototype, such as sliding around. One of the problems were, I think, 2 out of the 10 people were saying that it was kind of distracting. The only thing we really could say back to that was, you know, it's not something you just stare at, because for me, I always sort of stared at what my Bible is. So instead, it's just like, same thing with that to me. It's like, just don't stare at it, because that's exactly what I did for the mile gauge, and it's always there.
I hope you guys are realizing you're seeing like the very early stages of user experience and how that changes the way a product works. So going forward with college or whatever you guys decide to do next after high school, that's something really important to keep in mind, that your customer always shapes the way that the product should be.
So was it, in your presentation, was I correct from your timeline that year 1 is really going to be more of a development and manufacturing year? Or are you also planning on going to market and selling units in year 1? And if so, kind of how are those two things going to come together?
Well, since I'm developing, I can talk about that. So basically, yes. So we basically have the product, like the steps pretty much laid out to exact, but we're talking more mass production. We still do need to get through most of those kind of exact things. But for marketing, we want those both in year 1, just so I can answer that question. And Mauricio, if you want to talk about how we're going to do that.
No, we're gonna create a hashtag, and it's gonna be road rage or the light drive, hashtag the light drive, and it's just gonna be them taking a picture in front of the DMV with the light drive, with their license, and yeah.
That's one of the many sales strategies he did go through. And actually that picture up there on that slide was one of the girls who like tested with it, so she took a picture with it, with her permit and everything, just to act like one of those. But also we want to talk to some car, not dealership, but stores such as like O'Reilly's to see if they'd be interested in it. And we have talked to driver's ed classes, but again, we're not selling them to them directly. It's more or less they'd be a recommendation because they are the ones who need taught to how to speak to their kid. They've been instructed. Parents are the ones who really need the help.
Did you ever check on any liability if there was a malfunction that caused a problem?
Yes, we have a lawyer that came into our class, and we had talked to him about what it would cost and take for us to ensure that we were not liable for any accidents that occurred with our product in the vehicle. So we have covered we have in the startup costs, that cost covered.
So through this whole class, even if you guys don't move forward with the business, what do you think the number one thing you guys have beaten yourselves up, and this is an individual question each, what have you beaten yourselves up about the most, and what do you think you're going to take with you, whether you're applying to college or competing in a job candidate? What's the biggest advantage that you guys have over the pool?
I've learned to deal with members that don't like to do things a lot. So I've really overcome that motivation, and I've gotten a lot better at getting them to do things. So I think that's probably one of my biggest struggles, just trying to get people more involved, because we do have such busy lives as high schoolers trying to do that. But also, like, speaking in front of public, I've always been, like, okay at that, but after this, I'm like, dang, I can do anything. Put me in front of the president, I got this. So, working hard.
I feel like I've definitely gotten better at accepting what can and can't be changed, specifically with our numbers. It's like I've struggled a lot with getting our numbers as low as possible and learning to deal with being okay with these are the numbers, this is where they're at, and this is the best we can do.
Yeah, before all this, I couldn't present in front of people, but like now I feel calm. I know what I'm saying, you know.
We would just like to also thank Ms. Jones and Mr. Anderson for all the help being our mentors, and Mr. Smith for keeping me sane, and everyone else who has helped us throughout this process.
Okay, so investors, as you can see, we have 2 units with phone cords on the table.
As you can see, we have also a power inverter. If you would like to charge your phone cord at any time during the presentation and test out our prototypes, feel free.
So, hi, I'm Harrison Seville, co-founder of Kratos, and this is my business partner.
Kiara Carey. How many nights are you checking your phone cord, bending it around, and it's not charging? You bent your phone cord into submission. It will not work anymore. We have a product, though, Kratos does, that will fix your broken phone cords and prevent it from breaking.
So, the Kratos has come up with a power shield. Now, the power shield is a mobile accessory that goes on the end of your phone cord, taking away the vantage point, keeping your phone cord from fraying and breaking.
We have decided that we are going towards 12-year-olds through 65-year-olds. We are always on social media, and we are just going through and not caring how we unplug our phone cords, and we are just creating that break. On average, our phone cords last 3 months, although Apple says that it should last 1 year.
So, let's get into some numbers. 95% of Americans own cell phones. That's 308 million people. You times that by our suggested retail price of $7, and you're over $2 billion. Wouldn't you guys want some of that cash? So, our problem. On average, you're charging your phone 2 to 3 times a day. That's a lot of wear and tear on your phone cord. Also, you're laying in bed trying to watch Netflix while you're charging your phone. Now, with that, your phone cord sitting on your chest, it's giving it that vigorous bend, which is now creating your phone cord to fray and break.
Our UVP. So we have some competitors. The Cable Bite, an animal-based phone cord protector. It is sold at Walmart for $4.99, and the reviews are lackluster. It's 2.4 stars out of 5 stars. They say that the charging head does not fit on the charging cord and it is just falling off, and it's not realistic. Also, the Cable Bite is childish, and we would like a more sophisticated design because not everybody wants a penguin on their phone cord. JetTech cord protection. It is a spiral design, and it's similar to ours with some relief cuts, but it's not exactly what we would like. It is not able to be a grip like ours is because it doesn't attach at the top, and because it doesn't attach at the top, it also falls off of the phone cord. So testing. We did some testing with 8 prototypes over the past several weeks, and we have our black 3D model that we have tested with, and our clear rubber urethane model that we have also tested with. And we have found from testing that people are more comfortable using their phone cord, especially with it breaking. Kevin Stajon, the engineering manager at Mac Automation, used it on a broken phone cord and actually found that he likes it a lot more. He kept it. He likes it so much because there's less of a safety hazard and he can go and bend his phone cord. We've also learned that our material has to be stronger than what we had initially. And our sizing on the top needs to be a little bit more precise because of the idea that it could fall off as well.
So, our first BMC. Obviously, it was blank. Then we started with our development process and started building our company around it. So what happened from February 11th to now? So obviously after we got our initial funding, we went straight to Doherty Enterprises and created our mold. After creating our mold, we contacted Polytech and purchased a urethane rubber of the name of PT Flex 70. Now we used the rubber, tested it, and it just wasn't right. The rubber was not the right diameter, it was too soft for our liking. So we went back to Polytech, I talked to the regional manager and had them send us a whole another 4 pounds of a harder diameter for free. We then shot that in our mold and came with Prototype B. Prototype B is our final prototype and what we like. After making a handful of our prototypes, we began testing.
So our newest BMC kind of looks like Rainbow because we've had to edit it so much because of our testing and because of other things that we've learned. We've learned that our customer segmentation is more for sophisticated business people instead of people who want, let's say, a penguin to get on their phone cord. We've also learned that our broken phone cord people can also be used and can also have their problem solved. And our cost of goods sold has came down from $3.22 to $1.33, which is a huge difference and saves us a bunch of money. Our market reach. So our TAMs, our total addressable market, is just people in the United States with cell phones. As Harrison said, that's 308 million people. Multiply that by $3.95, which is what we would like to give to retail distributors. They can market it themselves. And our profit becomes over $1 billion. All right, that's kind of crazy. So our SAM is our sizable addressable market. And that's just teens active on social media with a cell phone. And we've decided that teens are more, are able to be reached more, and we are able to have a more precise number than if we do just adults, and that is over 25 million people. Times that by, again, our $3.95 because of our retail price, and that is over $102 million. Now our focus market is just the number of teens active on social media with a cell phone in Kane County, Lake County, DuPage County, and McHenry County. And with a little over 2.5 million people, times that again by our $3.95, we have a profit of over $10 million.
So our backers, we have J.A. Freight. J.A. Freight is a large trucking company in Crystal Lake with over 200 employees. We were using them for initial testing, but we felt that our product is not well developed enough, so we are going to go back with them and test, and we have verbal commitment of them being an early adopter. We then had a meeting with Other World Computing. Now that is a technology company here in Woodstock. We had discussed the idea of them being a potential distribution channel for us, while us being on their website. So we have further meetings with them to discuss more. So our SG&A. For our administrative costs, we have $1,500. That covers for our utilities, phone, and internet, and to pay rent to our parents for the first year starting out in their basement. Now for our marketing. For the first 3 years, we have just over $1,000. Now this will cover social media ads, website ads, trade shows that we'd like to attend, promotional units for those trade shows, and guerrilla marketing, which we would be doing ourselves. Now, for our salaries, we have salaries for shipping and packaging, a bookkeeper, and a little salaries for ourselves, and a little bit of legal fees in there. So the salaries are based off minimum wage for 30 hours a week, coming out with year one of just over $39,000, year two just over $50,000, and year three just over $63,000. For our cost of goods sold, we have a production price of 42 cents. Now we start the labor and packaging prices. So for our labor of 15 cents, a plastic bag that the unit would be in for 2 cents, an envelope that the unit will be distributed in for 15 cents, cardstock with a nice little personal message from us for 4 cents, and a stamp to get it out the door, 55 cents, coming down to a total of $1.33 per unit.
Now I know you're gonna ask, hey guys, are you only gonna do retail? No, we would also like to be on our website, and being on our website means that we can go and charge a little bit more of that. And the difference between those profit streams is our retail price is we would sell it to distributors for $3.95. But minus our cost of goods, the $1.33 Harrison talked about before, we would gain a profit of $2.62. But if we sold it just on our website for our suggested number of $7, we would gain $5.67. So if we sold just, let's say, 500 units, the retail price would give us $1,315, but our website would give us $2,840. That is a $1,525 difference. So I'm gonna guess that we're gonna go and be right on our website instead of just on retail.
Now for our startup costs. For administrative, we have just under $1,500, which will be covering our 2 patent search fees and all of our LLC fees. Now, equipment. We have $3,500 for design for manufacturing, $14,000 for the production tool, and $200 for basic desk equipment, coming out to $17,700. Now, initial marketing of $110, which is just for basic Instagram and Facebook ads with a little bit of promotional stickers to get out to the community. Inventory. We'd like to have $600 to start initial inventory so we can have a few units for ourselves before we decide to start full production and sell. So coming out for a total startup of $19,860.
Our 3-year forecast. So in our first year, we plan to sell 3,575 units, and selling that just to retail so that you get the bare minimum of exactly what we could get, and that's a little over $14,000. Year 2, we plan to increase 300%, and that's a little over 14,000 units. Selling that again only at our retail is a little over $56,000. Year 3, we plan to increase 400%, selling 71,500 units, and multiplying that again is our $282,000, so that we can go and increase even more after the year 3. Our 3-year revenue and profit profile. As you see on the screen, we have our net loss for year 1, year 2, but yet year 3 comes down to a net income of a little over $99,000.
Our next steps. Obviously, we would like to start production, start mass producing, and start selling. We then decided that we need to start talking about maybe different colors for our units, customization for our units, and getting right on those promo units so we can get our name out there. We then have follow-up meetings with Otherwell Computing, our distribution channel, the Mac Station, another distribution channel, and J Freight, our biggest early adopter. Now for the big ask. So we are asking for $23,000 for 12% in equity in our company of a post valuation of just over $196,000.
We would like to thank all of the investors for being here, for Mr. Smith for being in charge of our class, the mentors for helping us every step of the way, the coaches for teaching us everything we know, and for people sitting with us in meetings. Thank you all for coming and helping us make
The perfect charge, every charge.
Good job, guys. 2 questions that I have. From defining retail, what is defining that, I guess? Is it Amazon? Is it just in the distribution channels of retail locally? How are you defining that space?
So we decided that half of our profit would be a close estimate. So we would like to go and do 7 at least to saturate the market right now. So half of that is $350, but we decided that we could also raise it up a little bit because we weren't making enough profit for that.
So 2 pop-up shops, the 1 distribution channel of OWC, and then our website. So we want to be able to saturate the market at $7. That is why we're going with the $3.95 to then be able, they can upcharge it and we can saturate the market at $7 on our website, and then they can also saturate the market at $7 for us.
Is Amazon included in any of that planning or no?
Well, we haven't really discussed that. We've discussed it. We haven't done further research into Amazon because we feel that we might be all right with our initial pop-up shops, and if we get on OWC's website, that's a big, almost now international company that it would be a big win for us. So then Amazon can be in our next steps.
You guys do great.
Thank you.
So when you say you're going to sell on your website, how do people find your website based on the marketing budget that you put forth? Is there marketing dollars associated with getting people to see your website?
It's mostly our Instagram and Facebook ads that we're going to do, but we've decided that doing a Google search engine modification was not profitable for most businesses, so we did not want to do that for ours, so that's why that dollar amount is a little lower than probably what it would be like.
Our guerrilla tactics of handing out flyers actually brought a large amount of people to our website. Actually grew about 50% in that week that we initially handed those out. So we want to go back to the guerrilla marketing maybe a little bit, a couple more steps up than what we had done before.
Okay, second follow-up question then is, it feels, and correct me if I'm wrong, it looks to me like your increased costs are associated with salaries, but your units are pretty drastically growing. How do you not grow administrative costs when your production is growing at such a high level?
So for year one, yeah, we did start low with our salaries, personally for ourselves and the other employees, and they have risen over the next 2 years. Obviously not quite enough, so we have to go back, do further research on what, if we are growing this fast, what we would have to pay those people to excel with us and not lose them.
I absolutely love your idea and your presentation. I think it absolutely has legs if you decide to pursue it. The one question I have is on your financial model. You're going from really having sold no units at this point to a relatively nominal amount of units in year one, but then a 300% jump in year two and a 400% in year three. Have you given thought as to how you're going to capture that additional sales volume beyond just your introductory marketing and kind of getting the word out?
That's a little bit with where we would like to work with. We would like to work with Patricia Miller, and I know that with her her factory, she can make it faster than what we can ourselves.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair response. I mean, it's just in looking at it and thinking about developing a business. I mean, that's a huge jump, and that's what you need to have happen if you're going to be successful long term with your business. But I'm just trying to point out that, you know, just launching an idea is one thing, but then growing the idea is a completely different marketing set that you're going to have to put your arms around. I am hopeful for the two of you that if, you know, this is something you want to pursue, that you have that opportunity, because in the 3 years that I've been doing this, this is one product that I see that I'm like, yeah, I think this is viable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on that, I feel the same way. This is a really great product. So spending time getting true about what it actually takes to launch something of this magnitude, that part feels pretty immature, you know, and so I think when that gets mature, this is really a viable thing. I mean, it's so relatable. And so to back it, we'd want to see that I'd want to see those numbers to feel more credible and realistic with that kind of a growth trajectory. But it's a great product.
Thank you.
I don't have anything else, so nice job.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julian, and we are Evolutio Beauty.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Wellner, the Chief Operating Officer.
I'm Jared Grell, the Chief Financial Officer.
I'm Destiny Flores, and I'm the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer.
Again, I'm Julian Alonzo, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer. The problem I'm going to be introducing you guys today is mascara smudging, and the problem tends to happen with the application of mascara. When you apply it on your top lashes and bottom lashes, it tends to fall on your top eyelid and on your bottom eyelid. So today we're going to be showing you guys a video of our mentor, Miss Speciale. She's going to be applying mascara. As you can tell, she's really trying to get it on there without smudging on her eyelids. You can also tell she's kind of frustrated with what's going on. The solution we ended up coming up with is a eye-shaped tool made out of a flexible material that you will be placing on the top of your lashes and on the bottom of your lashes, so you can prevent the mascara from smudging on your eyelids.
So this is our business model canvas. It's just an overview of our whole entire company. So as we just discussed, our problem is the problem of mascara smudging onto a finished look of makeup. And our solution is a thin piece that goes over your eyelid to protect protect it from that mascara smudging. So our customer segment is ages 13 to 55 females who wear mascara. And we're going to be selling each unit at $8.99 each, and our main channels are going to be DNA Salon and our website and social media. Our key metrics are also going to be how many units are bought and the feedback that the people are giving us after they buy our product.
The first competitor that I'm going to introduce to you today is called the Yukon Eyelash Gel, and it's found on Amazon.com. We found through customer reviews that this product is not very flexible due to the fact that it's made out of hard plastic, and the very intimidating ridges surrounding are very hard to use this product. There's also no customer connections at all. Second competitor that I'm going to introduce to you today is called the Flutterby Premium Lash Shield Applicator. It was also found on Amazon.com. We found that this product is very poor quality material due to the fact that it broke during shipping for one of our customer reviews, and it's not user-friendly at all. There's no directions on how to use this product at all, so our solution to that would be to give directions to how to use our product. The third and final competitor that I'm going to introduce to you today is called the Lash Guard. The Lash Guard is too bulky, it's not good for long-term use, and it does not fit along the lash lines. Unique value proposition. We consider the pros and cons of our competitors, and we have found a solution that works for us. We're going to make our newest prototype thin enough to be able to apply an even coat of mascara with no problems, and very comfortable to the eye as well, and to inspire confidence.
Since our MVP pitch, a lot of things have changed. We've evolved as a company, and we've refined our identity and built confidence with our brand. So we changed our name to Evolutio Beauty to mimic the evolution that we've gone through since our first day in incubator. We've also identified our niche market, which is upper-end salons such as DNA Salon, who carry specialty beauty products on their shelves. Now we've also developed and improved 4 prototypes throughout this process, and we've just taken the feedback from our testers and put it right back into the design of our product.
Once again, I'm Jerry Grohl, the Chief Financial Officer of Evolutio Beauty. Going into our startup cost, we have a total startup cost of $45,000. What that money will be going to initially is our legal fees in setting up our business, as in registering us as an LLC, insurance, patents, and things of that nature, which is $2,200. Next is $40,000 in molding. The first mold that we will use is the prototype mold, which will cost $5,000, and we will use this mold to initially get us units in stores like DNA and other stores around McHenry County. The next mold we will use is $30,000, and we'll use that mold for when we go into all the stores and we can really ramp up production. The rest of the money will go into initial marketing for the beginning of our first year, so we can really get traction towards our business. Going into our selling, general, and administrative costs, we have $4,200 for the first year, and that is things like insurance, office supplies, marketing, and things of that nature. And that will continuously grow in price as we grow as a business. Now, going into our cost of goods sold, we have $3.05. What that money is used for is 27 cents for the material that we would use in our mold, 73 cents for our packaging, 5 cents for labeling, and then the rest of the money will go into a labor cost that we have set.
Our suggested retail price is to be below $10, so we decided to price our product at $8.99. This puts us in the category of an impulse buy, so when we are on the shelves in Ulta, we'll be right next to the cash register, and people will see it and they'll feel like they cannot live without our product.
Now, going into our customers, we have a total available market of 108 million people. That is just the complete total amount of people in the United States who use mascara. Next, going into our serviceable available market, we have 3.7 million people. That is taking our target market of 13 to 55 from the population of Illinois, of females in Illinois. That's how we get that number. Next, going into our market share, we have 90,000 people. That is also taking our target market of women 13 to 55 from the female population in McHenry County.
For our marketing strategy, we're taking 2 approaches. We're taking the physical approach, which is the most important part. We're going to have a product launch, which is so exciting. The Woodstock Chamber of Commerce has agreed to hold a chamber mixer centered around our product being put into DNA Salon. which is very exciting and we're very proud of. We're also going to use sidewalk chalk designs and circular table displays with our logo and information about our company, such as our social media. And we're also going to use a window banner covering the whole entire window of the DNA salon. Now, our second half of our marketing is our social media marketing. Now, this is also separated into two categories. It's for people that are below 30 years old and people that are older than 30 years old. Now, our Twitter and our Instagram are going to be for people that are below 30, and our Facebook is for people that are above 30. But we're not just using our own social media, we're using the social media of the networks that we've built. Specifically, DNA, Salon, and Apothecary. We'll be using their customer basis and marketing towards those people.
Throughout the progression of the cereal, these are the prototypes that we had came up with. Our first prototype, we had found that the material that we used was actually it wasn't the greatest, it was too hard for the actual user to use. So we came up with a second prototype, which we also found was not the right size and the curvature wasn't as fitting towards the eye. So with our third prototype, we tried making it as big as possible so that it was easier for the user to use. The handle was how we wanted it to be, but the actual piece that you put on your eye shape was it didn't fit the actual eye and it was too close. Now with our fourth prototype, we tried making it as possible as close to the curvature of the eye, but the handle ended up getting a lot smaller and it wasn't how we wanted it. Throughout our testing, we tested Leslie. She's 17 years old. She said that she really liked the concept of our product and she wants to know where and when she can buy it. But she also said that it needed a better curvature and she wanted something that she can actually use in hand.
Another woman that we tested with is Rose. She's in her early 40s and she was very surprised she hasn't heard a product like this before. She's also very eager to be able to track our progress along the way.
As you can see, this is our timeline for the next 3 years. So in year 1, quarter 1 and 2, we're going to be finalizing, or we're going to be testing our product and enhancing it to be the best it could possibly be. So in quarter 3 and 4 of year 1, we'll be finalizing our product so that we can go into our product launch with no more changes needed. And then in year 2, as you can see, quarter 1 and 2, we will be expanding our niche market into other upper-end salons such as DNA and other zip codes. And then we're also going to continue to increase our production amount. In year 2, quarter 3 and 4, we're going to be planning ahead for our Ulta contract, because Ulta plans a year or 2 in advance for any products that are going to be going on their shelves, and we like to be prepared. And then in year 3, we're going to ramp up production because we'll have a final mold that will have no more changes, so we can make hundreds of thousands of units with that mold. So by the end of year 3, we'll be in Ulta and their stores across the nation.
Now, going into the big ask, we are asking for $58,000 for 10% equity of our business. What that $58,000 will be going to is the $45,000 that I initially said in the beginning of the pitch. The rest of the money will go to our maximum cumulative loss and our liquidity cushion, just so if anything goes bad throughout the progression of our business, we have money set to the side to pay for those expenses. What the group also thinks is great about our ask is $30,000 of that ask we won't need until year 2, which is for that final mold. Because by year 2, that is when we will be setting up our Ulta contract and actually needing to ramp up production.
Not only are you investing in our company, but you're investing in our networks and relationships so far. Behind me is just a list of a few of the many relationships we have created along the way and hope to gain more.
As you can see, this is Miss Speciale actually putting on mascara with the prototype. It allows it for her to make it easier so that she can avoid the smudges from happening.
So please join our team in the evolution of mascara application.
Well done. I'm curious, from the MVP pitch, obviously the product that you initially had at the MVP was quite a bit different than what we're looking at today. Talk to us about that a little bit. Give us a little bit more explanation of kind of your development process.
So what we did with that, I just took a piece of silicone and molded it to where we wanted it to be, as the shape you see there. And then after meeting with a few people to create CAD designs, we've come up with different prototypes you see there. And we're just trying to build some more as we go on to make it perfect.
So as a follow-up question, clearly you did some product testing. Talk to us about the feedback that you received from your product testing and how that resulted in changes to your final product.
So throughout our actual product testing, we found out that the curvature wasn't how most people wanted it because it didn't actually fit the eye shape. So throughout each prototype, we tried making it a lot closer. And then also with the handle, people were saying that either it was too flimsy or it was not sturdy enough. So we tried making it as close as possible to being like an actual portable piece without it like falling over itself.
Good job, you guys. Ironically, this is a product I'd be least interested in, but your pitch is really thorough, especially from a marketing standpoint. I really appreciate seeing how you broke down how you're going to get it out there. I can see that you did the research of that. I think it was excellent. I'm curious why you stopped the demographic at 55, and I'm also curious about the marketing budget for such a robust, what feels like a thorough investigation of what it takes to market something. I'm curious how you came up with the number you did.
So we communicated with DNA Salon and Darren Flynn. He was super helpful. He helped us kind of figure out like the age group. So we said 15 to 30 for the different marketing for social media, and then 30 and up. And he said that in his own salon, that people that are above the age of 55 are less likely to buy products that are going to help them with their makeup, simply because they're either not putting on their makeup or they just feel like they don't need help.
And then going into our marketing price that we've set out, we just took a 10% cost, I mean not 10%, a 10-cent cost for each unit sold to put into our marketing. So in year 3, we have around a $16,000 budget for marketing going by the revenue that we've put in for year 3.
Question I have when I looked at the timeline from Q1 of year 1 through year 3, you have testing it out in the retail space locally, then going into niche marketing, and then going into Ulta. Are you also factoring in the sales from social media and your website in that at the same time, or excluding that?
So I think we might not have been clear about that in the slides. When I said that we were going to use the channels, website, and social media, we're not selling on website or social media. We're just using that to reach our customers and inform them that we have a brick and mortar shop. So it's just going to be sold in DNA and then continue.
Gotcha. And can you chat through the rationale of just utilizing the brick and mortar versus going into a digital platform?
So we kind of qualify as a specialty beauty product, and as you saw with our competitors, they were all found on Amazon, and they don't have a niche. They're just selling to everybody. And so if we find our niche, which is upper end salons such as DNA, it's a better customer relationship, and that will fit into our plan until we're in Ulta. And then that's more expanded, and they have so many locations in the United States, then we can really go into stuff on there.
1,200 is growing 10% each year.
Yeah, who knows the numbers?
Perfect. One other question I had, and I appreciate the thoughtfulness of even looking at how much cost would need to be headed over the few years. I think there's two perspectives of either starting with a prototype mold and then saying revenue you generate will fund then the production tool. But you guys assume that you'll need the cost up front even though the production tool may be 2 or 3 years in. Can you walk me through that rationale versus just going with the ask of the proto tool and then allowing your revenue to invest the production tool?
If you look in the investor packet, I'm almost certain we wouldn't have enough revenue to pay in full for the production tool. So having that paid for as an investment would really help us out to get to Ulta as fast as we can. And then when that's set, the amount of sales that we can get from Ulta will help out extremely to pay back for the investment in full and double, because the IRR is around 200% and then that'll just also help us produce more and gain more money.
It seems like you've actually walked through the steps with Alta of how to make sure they say yes. But it also seems like your whole plan is built on a yes. What if you get a no?
So if we do get a no, we'll be disappointed, but we will continue to expand in our niche market. And we also didn't mention that we're going to be on a website called FAIR. So they are a zip code exclusive website. And there are companies in all these different zip codes that look for specialty products that they can't find anywhere else. So we could expand there across the nation, and it would give us enough time to continue to try and get into it.
My last question is, I'd like to know from each of you, what was the most significant thing you learned in this project?
I think it's just really taught me that, like, what things happen like in the real world, because we take all these other classes and you learn to read out of a book and you learn about history, but here I learned how to set up meetings, I learned how to communicate with people, work as a team, and I think that's just the most beneficial thing, because I'm going to use it throughout my whole life.
For me is talking to people and getting to meet with certain people that know more than you do, which has really helped us out with progressing in our business. And if you know people, you can get farther than just your smarts, I believe.
For me, it was overall presentation skills and life skills, as Destiny said. Like, a lot of people I reached out to, I wouldn't normally reach out to. And I'm kind of glad like I gained that skill, because now like I'm more confident in that. And yeah.
For me, it was also presentation skills. I'm very jittery. I don't really go out talking to a lot of people, so this kind of helped me overcome a lot of that stuff. Also, knowing that things aren't always going to go perfect. We had a couple of disagreements along the way throughout the year about little things that weren't like, they weren't worth our time arguing over or trying to like make a big deal out of. So kind of just being like that person that kind of keeps everything all together and not from falling apart kind of helped a lot this year.
There's one thing that I did miss, and when I was going through the timeline, which I think is really important, Lindsay is going to college, but she's still going to stay involved, and we plan on taking this very seriously the next few years. And actually, as seniors, Julie and Jared and I are going to try and take the accelerator course, which is the continuation of this class. And we're serious about this. We want to spend the time to make this business work no matter what it takes. Thank you guys so much.
Great job.
We also just want to thank everybody in the audience and Ms. Speciale and Mr. Smith for helping us out so much throughout this process. You guys have done a lot. Thank you.
Good evening. We are Cubster. My name is Andrew Rishling. I'm the COO, the Chief Operations Officer, and I'm also the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer.
My name is Camden Hansen. I'm the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, and the CCO, the Chief Compliance Officer.
My name is Devin Maxey, and I'm the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer.
I'm Joel.
Now let me ask you, do you or anybody that you know ever had a problem with spilling drinks in their car? Well, I personally always have this problem. Whether it's me or my friends, we're always spilling stuff. Now, I've been going to the gym lately a lot, and I always carry this huge water bottle with me always. And the other day I drove to the gym, and I had my water bottle, but I took a sharp turn, and boom, my water bottle slid out of my hand. Water spilled everywhere. Not a good scene. But with the Cubster, which is a portable cup holder insert, which adjusts to any size, width, or height cup that you have with you at the time, it's going to prevent this problem, and we're hoping for good. Now let us present to you the next generation of cup holders.
Now, we're asking for $50,000 for 20% equity of our company, and that's off our $248,000 valuation. And when we see an opportunity, we love to jump on it. Now, the opportunity we saw was these cups spilling all the time. Drink sizes continue to get bigger and bigger, and even smaller and smaller as the years go by. In 2006, 7-Eleven introduced 128 fluid ounce cup. I don't think that's going to fit my cup holder personally, but maybe with the cup server we can try to fit it in there. But with consistently large cups like the 64-ounce Big Gulp from 7-Eleven, any of your big McDonald's cups, and even your small Red Bull cans tend to rattle around or are unsecure within your car. Cars are also adding an increased emphasis on cup holders. The 2019 Subaru is introducing a car with 19 cup holders. All right, so we saw this problem, we saw this opportunity, and we want to make sure it was a viable problem to solve. So we started asking, and we asked close to 100 people if them or any of their friends had ever spilled a drink in their car. Now, almost 90% of people said yes. We also asked them if they ever experienced a cup that didn't fit in their cup holder. Now, almost 80% of people also said yes to that.
Our competitive analysis. So our two top competitors are the Joytis and the Smart Flask. Now, both of these were not able to fit any 32-ounce cup size that wasn't the shape of their cup holder. And neither of them could adjust their width nor their height. Also, none of them were dishwasher safe, unlike the cup server where we have all these features. Our UVP. Now, the reason why we're unique is because none of our competitors are able to expand either their width nor their height. So once you insert it into a cup holder, if you find the right cup size that you need, you just lock it and it's there. Product development. So our version 0 was just a dog bowl with some plumbing materials at the bottom to see what it would look like. And that's what it came out to. And our version 1 is 3 solo cups, like red solo cups, and you cut the bottom, put a rubber band around them, and you just had to smash the cup in there, but that wasn't good enough. So our version 2 is our 3D printed from the professionally CAD design that we got, and it wasn't what we wanted, we just needed to interlock, which is where Xander comes in.
Now we had the privilege of working with Mac Automation and a gentleman named Ethan over there. He helped us so much this year. He was a huge help. He helped us get this design. I met with him along with the rest of my team, and we talked over some of the things that could jump in the way of what we wanted, and we managed to come up with a solution that brought us here. A really grateful and complex design that we are planning on printing out here in the near future. We had some complications with our 3D printer, which allowed us to, or prevented us from making that print for you today, but that is definitely in our near future.
Now with our MVP experimentation. Currently we tested 20 people with our prototype and we got nothing but good reviews to improve our prototypes. And we're still waiting with 50 people that are waiting to test our product. And with our new prototype that, like Xander said, we have interlocking rings, and also we're gonna add another ring for more experimentation. And our exit strategy. We're looking to stay as long as possible, and to make this achieved with our investor, we're also looking to stay for 3 to 5 years, and also we're looking to sell to a strategic buyer. Now with our legalities, we're looking for an LLC registration and a design utility patent, and also we're looking to get a copyright trademark for the cup server. And let me hand you back to my partner, Alexander.
Now our website. Our website is a fully functional website that allows for a full e-commerce functionality where you can go on and buy the product. This is just an example of what it would look like on the far left. On my far left, it's going to be your mobile, and in the middle here is going to be your desktop. We'll have things on there from our mission statement, all about us through Incubator and our coming up story, along with some information about us as members.
Customer relations. So we plan on using social media like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter And we also plan on using our emails from the list that we got when we did our problem interviews. And also we plan on going around the square, placing flyers around, just sales channels. So our main source for sales channels will be our website. But eventually we want to get to the third-party distributors like Amazon and eBay, and then hopefully we'll be able to go into our local auto shops like O'Reilly or AutoZone.
For our market size, we have a target market that consists of adults who are between the ages of 18 and 65, adults that are either employed or enrolled in school, and those who commute in the morning. For our total addressable market, we came up with a number approximately 1,121,000 units, which is based on the assumption that 1% of people we reach purchase our product, and these purchases give us approximately $20 million in total revenue. For our serviceable addressable market, we came up with the number of 5,872 people in McHenry County and neighboring counties. And based on these people purchasing our product, we got the result of just over $100,000 in revenue. And these numbers leave us with a market share of 44.96%. Our cost of goods sold can be broken down into 5 main categories. When added up, the total for these categories is $3.47 per unit. Our 3-year summary evaluation. In year 1, we have a net loss of $3,600. And then jumping to year 2, we have a net income of $30,000. In our 3rd year, we jump all the way up to a net income of $76,000. For our uses of capital, we would use the $50,000 investment for $45,000 for a 5-piece mold, $3,000 for 500 startup inventory, and $2,000 to get a professionally made website. Our next steps are, in May, our goal is to win the incubator final pitch, use investment money for startup costs. In June, we are going to finish and test our version 3 prototype. Then in July, we are planning on getting in our first commercial store. And lastly, in August, we will gain steady production of our product.
Now we'd like to give a huge thank you to everyone in this community that's been involved with the incubator program, and especially our team. Mr. Fulano, he's been the biggest help by far. He's been there when he's sick, when he's not around. He's been involved and he's been there to help us. He's given us every second of time that he can to making sure that our team flourishes as much as possible. Obviously, Mr. Smith, he's here. He's been giving us all the information and all the tools we need to get this company up and running. And then, of course, you guys, you're giving up a huge chunk of your time to give us your interest and look towards a future investment. And then, of course, the entire community of Woodstock. Being involved with the incubator program is huge, and that's a great thing for us as kids. And to go off to college with all of this experience and all the support of our community, it's huge. So we'd like to give a huge thank you to every single one of you guys. Now join us in protecting all drinks and keeping cars clean.
Not just the content has been so much more refined and polished since MVP pitches for all of the groups, but presentation skills too. So it's really nice to see you guys did a great job. One question I have is just looking at timelines from where you're at in May to wanting production and in the stores in a month's time. Have you had a chance with Mac or whomever you're working with to validate how long it'll take to build those molds before going into production?
We found out, we got an estimate for the cost, but it might take a little longer than a month, but we're trying to, as soon as we get our version 3 prototype done, we're going to try and get the molds put together and start production as quick as possible. So it might take a little longer than a month, but we're just hoping to do it as quick as possible.
Awesome. I think that's something probably just looking at feasibility of that timeline would be worthwhile. The other thing I was looking at is just in terms of where you have your costs early on, and obviously the website being your primary driver for this before you go into Amazon or some of the other retail outlets. Can you comment on anything in the budget to drive traffic to the website in the early days before you go after some of these other channels?
Of course, yeah. So we're blessed with the generation of the internet. The easiest marketing disposal put right in front of us. There's so many things from Google and their ads and all the things that the internet has to offer for pushing people towards our website. There's plenty of things that we can utilize. I think social media, obviously, as one of those main things. For us, we're all very familiar with social media. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, they've all given us this huge platform to kind of promote whatever we want. And I think utilizing that and the huge I guess, spread of people that we can reach is really going to be what we're going to focus on to push towards our website.
To add to that, also we're looking about guerrilla marketing. We were talking about buying a cheap car and putting a wrap on it, marketing Cubster all over it, and driving it around town just so people can see it around. We thought that would be a great idea as well.
How focused are you on like energy drink size? Is that part of your thinking, those littler cans?
So I think for me and Devin, especially, we both are huge energy drink fiends. Right. So the Red Bull problem was huge for me because I was always picking up those smaller Red Bull cans. Never did I find a car that I was in that it fit. So I mean that was a huge thing for me. Not only expanding it because I know that was a huge problem, especially for my mother, who kind of sparked the whole idea. But for even me, being able to accommodate to that smaller cup as well as the larger cup was huge.
I'm going to back you up a little bit. I'd like to get a little bit more information from you on your total addressable market and your service addressable market. And then ultimately, describe to me what you really think is your target market for the launch. Like, you know, you have these great big places that you can sell to, but really, what are you targeting? Are you McHenry County focused, or are you much broader based? You know, Illinois, national, those types of things. Like, kind of, what were you guys thinking there?
So, from a broad view, obviously we're looking to target as many people as possible. That's the main goal, is to get this in the hands of as many people as we possibly can. Whether that's through all of our marketing and our pricing, adding up and making it the most accessible to people. But of course, definitely not slimming it down to McHenry County. Right now, our best option is to really target the community as a whole, because one, that'll get a lot of people that are trying to support younger entrepreneurs like us, as well as it's kind of at our disposal. Like I said, there's so much in front of us. We have the square. We could walk down the square right now and start handing out flyers to people. That's so easy, so simple, but it's so effective at the same time. And with the internet and everything, that's going to allow us to kind of spread our wings and expand and target as many people as possible.
So to add on to that, for our serviceable addressable market, we narrowed it down to just McHenry County and the surrounding counties, because obviously we're going to be on less of a budget to start, so it's going to be easier to reach them with all our marketing methods. And then once we can maximize and optimize that market, we are hoping to move on and expand to hopefully the rest of the country. There are a couple of things I want to say here. Sometimes I have to pinch myself in this class, remind myself these are actually 17 and 18-year-olds with the type of things that we're doing in the classroom and trying to get through team dynamics and communicate professionally. And then you heard it tonight, the language that they're using. It's pretty remarkable about the evidence of the learning that they've gone throughout the year. So I'm extremely proud of everything that they've accomplished. Give them a round of applause for that. So you heard pretty much every group do name drops. That's because if you look at the back of the pamphlet, there are a lot of committee members that had a huge role throughout the year. So we have coaches, mentors, and the board of investors, as well as our community champion that have made a huge impact on them. The coaches are the subject matter experts. They come in sometimes for 2 days, sometimes for over a week, trying to help the students learn these concepts and figure out how to apply it to their business. We also have the mentors who have a huge role in the success of this program. They are checking in sometimes on a daily basis, definitely on a weekly basis, checking for understanding, seeing how they're progressing through the curriculum, what new things they're learning. It just challenges them to actually explain what's going on in class. And if you can teach it to someone else, you've mastered learning that concept. So the mentors are constantly challenging them. And this program would not be what it is today without them helping push us along. The other aspect here is obviously the board of investors. They have a huge role as well. They've been an amazing source of feedback at 2 critical points throughout the year. Back in February, the MVP pitch, and then of course now for the final pitch, you heard them go through those questions and pinpoint areas that they may need to do additional research if they really want to move forward with it. So, and lastly is the community champion. We did not have a community champion last year, but I was lucky enough to come across Erin McElroy, and she came back into our program here and helped us out. The community champion is my liaison to the community. She has all the contacts and does all the networking for me so I can actually go about my day teaching. She finds the right fit for the curriculum to get them into the classroom, introduces me to them, and then I sit down with them and go through everything that they're going to cover with the students. So she's been vital to keeping my sanity this year. I do want to thank you for all the help this year. And I know you're wondering if I'm going to say it, but I do want to thank the parents, absolutely. And I think they deserve a round of applause as well. Parents are crucial to any aspect of education, but this is a very, very challenging course where students are trying to make sure that they hold business meetings and that they figure out how to overcome these challenges respectfully with their teammates. There's a lot that gets involved in the outside world for them, and without the parent support, they wouldn't be as successful. So I appreciate everything you guys did for us so that we could do this tonight. So thank you very much for that. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our community champion, Erin McElroy. She's going to announce the winners.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. It is my pleasure and honor to serve in this capacity. I think the future is bright. I would assume all of you out there, after hearing these pitches, that the next generation, we're all in good hands. So I just want to congratulate everyone. And it's very, very exciting to be a part of the INCubatoredu. And I hope anyone out there wants to be engaged in this program. And if you do want to coach, mentor, invest, or be involved, please reach out to me. I'm happy to connect you to this fabulous program. And hopefully it will be going on into an accelerated mode in the future. So Dustin, if you can help me with the envelopes, I kind of feel like this is the Oscars. And without further ado, I'm sure these students are waiting to hear, who has won, but I'm going to start with the second place and the runner-up. And the judges deliberated, and it was not easy, but second place goes to Craters. So congratulations, Craters. All right, drum roll. We can get it going out there. All right, so our 2019 INCubatoredu for Woodstock High School winner is Evolution. A very vibrant response for a very vibrant beauty product. Congratulations to everyone who participated, and again, thank you to the mentors, the coaches, the parents, and everyone who supported this program and supported Mr. Smith and his efforts in the classroom.
That does conclude the night finally. How about actually one more round of applause for our runner here. Appreciate you taking on both responsibilities. Thank you. Hope to see you again next year. I really appreciate all the support, whether you're volunteering, time or effort. We would not be able to accomplish this without you, so thank you. Good night.
It feels great putting in all the hard work for all these months and seeing it pay off in the end and getting the first place. I think it's just amazing. It feels awesome.
Well, it took a summer of thinking, and we had this idea. It was originally my idea, but we created it into something that I would never have assumed it could be, and I'm very excited to stay tuned along the process along the way.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is what I've wanted to do since I was in middle school, so just seeing all of our hard work put into this final pitch and then getting first place, it's my proudest moment.
I'm feeling great, to be honest. It's pretty exciting how we got first place and how much we've changed and how much we grew from this experience over the past year. It's something I could take outside of school with me personally, and yeah, this is all kind of surreal, so I kind of lost the words.